This is what we're talking through today, guys. This is something quite special. Whenever I have people who see me use it, or actually I don't really use it that much at a field, but whenever I've been around other airsofters and they see this thing, I always get comments on it. And if you're into airsoft, firearms, etc., you may know what this is. Otherwise, this is the Magpul FMG9, and it is airsoft. YouTube, you decided to block my last video, so just to let you know, this is not real. If it was real, it'd be worth a lot of money, because this was a replica, or sorry, it was a prototype firearm attachment kind of case thing that never actually was produced. It was a proof of concept. I believe it was in 2008. But the reason why it's so cool is because it kind of looks like a briefcase, although I don't know really any other kind of bags or cases that look like this, but it definitely does not look like a firearm. And what I love about it is it has this little thumb here, and when I push it, it turns into that. Now, obviously that looks more like a PDW style firearm, and it is so cool to push that button. The feeling of it when it kind of goes bam bam and just unfurls, I can't really describe it until you actually do it, but it is so different to a lot of the airsoft replicas that you now see, or you just see generally. And obviously I don't think practicality wise, I mean, it's not really a secondary, it's kind of a PDW, but are you going to use this thing as a primary? I don't know. But anyway, it is a great thing to have in my collection. So I thought I'd run through it. I'll talk to you guys what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and a bit of a backstory just of how I got it. So what this basically is a kit that goes onto a base Glock. So what I have got in here, which I can show you, I'm not disassembling this, is I have an Elite Force GLOCK, and actually it's got a different slide on it, but it is basically a kit where you can put the slide onto the top here. You have all the nozzles, etc., and it has this base trigger, etc., that's actually in place already. This is effectively, yeah, so you can get it from Evike, I believe, right now. Aegis is the company that makes it, but they're expensive. I think the base just kit is about $275. The actual built-out version of this, if you're going to do it as a Glock 18C, I think is $560. So you're spending $560 to get this, which is, I think, really cool, but it is a huge amount of money to spend on something which is a bit of a novelty item. So this is an Aegis Custom FMG9 conversion kit. This one is for the Elite Force GLOCK 17, but I've got an 18C in here. I would say having the 18C does mean that you have got the ability to flick this little switch here and turn it into a full auto. Just make sure this tracer, which I'll talk through in a second, is in place, but it makes it full auto as well as semi, which I think is really just an added element. I don't know why you wouldn't do that, because it makes it so much cooler, and I am going to show you it firing in a little bit right here. So it's a bit of a weird one to kind of put together. It is right now it's got this regular Glock 17 style mag in it, and you can use those normally. You can actually use these as well. Now you're probably thinking, how does that work? And I'll run you through it in a second. But this is how you disassemble it. You're basically going to have a little button right here, and as you push that, it's going to fold, and you can see the actual magazine right there. So if I release the mag, that's obviously there. If I've got the mag in, that's going to click into place. So you've got that kind of sitting in that position. I'm then going to actually just lift up this little cheek rest. It's going to allow this to fold, and that is going to fold into place. That's where the cheek rest is going to sit. But it is kind of very easy to do it, but you are going to use two hands basically to put it in that format. I think you're probably, you know, going to have that moment where you unfurl it. If you're actually using it, probably a lot of the time, you're going to have it unfurled and locked into place. It's all polymer design, and it definitely is, it's good build quality, but I can't imagine this is going to take too many knocks. You know, like you hit that, that could kind of snap off. You've got a spring in place there. When you've actually got it unfurled here, this is all hollow. Obviously it has to be to actually kind of fit the pistol grip in and the internals, you know, as it folds up. This again is kind of like your little foregrip that you have here. That is fine, but it's definitely not the most solid thing. I would say it's a solid piece. It's just a lot of this is not going to hold out like a metal built replica that you may have. It's got this as well, which is your, I'm not going to take it off right now, but this comes with it, which is your handle. So you can run it, it's got a Picatinny rail along here. You could run it without the handle on it and just basically have it as a square box, literally in that way. You know, if you can imagine that handle not being there, it's just going to be a square kind of little brick. Easy to put in a bag, easy to kind of pack, but it's not going to be as compact as your Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock, you know, 18C. So you are adding all of this on basically just to have the ability to have a stock and kind of a foregrip. So yeah, so it doesn't actually come with this. That is something extra. So as I said, if you want to buy this base with everything included as an 18C, an Elite Force GLOCK 18C, that's going to be $560. This is actually just a very cheap light that you can get from Amazon. I believe it's the DEFENTAC Pistol Light. I'll put a link to it down below and I'll put a parts list below. But that is only $18. So you can get that. And actually what I would say, let me try and not shine this at the camera, is I think it's 16 lumens or 600 lumens. And you can kind of hit it between strobe and between regular just by lighting it up. Holding down the button. But I think that fits perfectly there. It's really built for pistols, so you could kind of sit it on a pistol quite easily. If I've got this deployed, it's actually very easy. If I show you here, my thumb can just hit that and then keep it on, turn it off. So I actually think it's very practical for where it's at. What else do I want to go through? Oh, so the other thing is that in here you have space for a tracer unit. And Acetech, the company that make a huge amount of tracers, actually now do one for this FMG9 model. I think there's a lot of new models that are coming out. I think Maruyama are making one. So this may not be the one you go for, because I think you're going to be able to get a lot cheaper models that are coming out soon. But this definitely is one where you don't see them a lot around. People, when they see it, are like, hey, how did you get that? So I think you'll be able to use this tracer if you end up buying it in a lot of places. It has a flame effect on it. I'll do another video on that if that's something you guys want to do. But I think it's called the Acetech Agent, kind of like a secret agent gun. So that's kind of cool. FMG9 tracer unit. It's got color flame effect, and this is $75. Now it's very obviously 3D printed, and it's going to do what it says. I mean, $79 just to add. Sorry, $75 just to add the functionality of a tracer on here. I think it's kind of cool, but you know, you may want to use it, you may not. You can very easily not use that and just not have that tracer in. So it literally just pops in, sits in this perfect little gap right there, and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just give you a little overview just of it firing. The trigger on this is quite horrible, I would say. It's not exactly the nicest trigger. If I've got this cocked, basically what this is doing is it's just attaching to that slide. So as I rack that, it obviously opens the actual mechanism of what this does when it unfolds. But if you pull it back, it's just basically racking it as it would be, and that is just the trigger going there. So that is, but it is a bit of a horrible break. So I don't think you're going to be expecting much from this. I don't know if you're going to be able to change that trigger. It looks like a kind of, it's a very proprietary design. It looks fairly cheap with like a little spring right there. So I don't think you're going to be able to change that out. This as well, it's pretty cheap. You've got no Glock branding on it because it's obviously not Glock. But a lot of kind of exposed springs. So I think this is a bit of a novelty item, guys, but it is kind of very cool to have. So yeah, so that's basically going to be the action there. You have a mag release, which is your standard mag release right there, if you want to have that. You have a slide release, which I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you it when it locks up and finishing the mag, but that is your slide release right there. Oh, it is. I didn't realize that had locked the actual slide. So that kind of returns, that's not going to stick in place. But I've got the slide release right there. You can hear it. So that's going to go there. And this also folds up. So I've got a little tab here. If I push that in, I can fold this in place. That is just going to go there and lock out there. That's just basically how it's going to look when it's folded. But there is actually a functionality to putting that down. So what this does take is it takes your regular Glock mags. This is, I believe, an Elite Force Glock 17 mag. So as you can see, that's going in there. When this is folding up, where basically it's just going to fold into that space and you're containing it. Now, I did mention that this can take the Glock 18C mags. And so what it's going to do, I'm going to move this out of the way. What it's going to do is, obviously, as I kind of show you what this looks like in place, you know, does that look like it's going to work? No, it doesn't. So what this actually means is that you end up folding this thing, which again, it's kind of quite finicky. You're going to have to fold this. I'll try and show you here. So I'm going to have to fold that down. I'm going to have to push this mag forward, and that sits in there very snugly, as in it's kind of perfectly spaced. You can see there that it's got no other space to go. Then I'm going to fold this up, put it in exactly the same situation. So when I release this, and again, I think this is really cool because it actually shifts the mag down as it releases. I'm trying to show you guys a bit closer up here. So as I do that, it is actually putting that actually did a bit of gas release. I just filled this mag, so that might be why it just did a bit of a pop forward. But that is basically what it's going to look like as it comes through. So guys, I think it's a really cool replica. I don't necessarily think it's worth the money unless it's something you really, really want to get. But the other thing I think is really, really cool with this is the rate of fire is like your Glock 18C, obviously, because that's what it is. But it is, I'm just going to kind of put some rounds in here so you guys can see the tracer work, as well as using my trusty Vanguard Solutions. If I pick that up, it actually says, hey, I'm going to turn myself off, which I think is quite cool as well. I didn't realize I did that on the video. I'm going to go to my unlock button. I'm going to put in my secret number. If you know the secret number from the last video, write it in the comments below. That is what I used to do it. And I'm just going to open this up here, and I'm going to drop, I'm only going to drop 5 rounds in here just because I'm going to do a quick burst to show you guys what that's like. Actually, I'll put 10 in there. So I've done 10 rounds there, very easy. And then I'm going to do it again actually on this Glock 17 mag, just so you guys can see how cool it is when I deploy it and I actually then just go straight to fire. I think what is cool is the tracer. I hadn't actually really tried it until just now. So I do think that that's a pretty cool one. Thank you very much, Vanguard Solutions thing here. I'll start you guys off with the 17 because, you know, that's the less cool one probably out of the two of them. So as I said, I need to always remember what I'm doing here. Okay, so that is in place. This is me pretending to be a secret agent right now. Okay, I need to put this on. Secret agent glasses. Okay, deploying it. Obviously racking, and then... Now that mag was, for some reason there, actually pushing on the valve. So I don't know why that was, but that might be something I want to check out, because that could be just where the actual pin is in the slide for some reason was putting pressure on that and leaking some gas, because that mag has still got a load of gas. And then the really cool one, which we'll do, in fact, I'm going to release the slide, fire off the action. Although, should I have done that? I could have just released the action afterwards. Anyway, I'm going to put this thing in place here. That's a bit of a hard one to do. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to fold this up into position. And then, I should be showing you this, guys, a bit better, shouldn't I? And then I'm just going to lift this, push this down, and we're going to put that in place like that. Okay, so bad guys come along. Whack this out. Got that there. I'm going to push my little light in there. Very cool. And that is my 10 rounds out. Now I'm going to strobe you guys, which probably isn't great. 10 rounds out, and folding this up is going to be annoying. But it is, I mean, it's kind of ergonomic. Like, it's not exactly the most... I like the stock length. That is one thing to say. Fixed stocks, obviously, you haven't got that adjustability. But for me, anyway, like, this is a PDW. It feels comfortable. It's a usable piece of kit. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little talk through of my of my FMG9. As I said, hopefully you guys found this useful. If you did, please do a little thumbs up, a like, a comment, and a subscribe would be fantastic. I'll do some shorts on this guy as well, because I think people like to see it unfurl. Anyway, I will see you very soon in another video. Always give me ideas on the next one to do. Goodbye.